Oh man. Today is going to be very, very entertaining given that Nvidia is up 12% in the pre-market. I'm not sure if we've got short squeeze, if we've got true enthusiasm here or what it is, but I'll tell you, the Fibonacci is right here, and as soon as we hit 4 a.m., whoop, we just blew right up above that. Now, pre-market numbers driven by low volume. It looks like we're probably trading about, an average here maybe of about probably less, probably more like 5,000 shares on average are being traded here in the pre-market. Clearly, you've got an overweight to the buy, 5,000 shares, 674. That's still sitting around $3.3 million per minute here. So you've definitely got some activity in pre-market. I do generally get concerned about how robust pre-market gains are, mostly because pre-market is a very low, how should I say, low liquidity market, and so you don't have institutional sellers to the level that you might expect during the open market. You are generally dealing with what's known as ECN trading, which is just matching buy and sell orders directly, as opposed to a market maker market where you'll actually have the designated market maker for, NASDAQ or, in this case, NASDAQ or New York Stock Exchange is the designated market makers. Anyway, the point is you have so much more liquidity being provided by these high-frequency traders that you don't necessarily get a one-sided imbalance as quickly, is the point. So it'll be really fascinating to see how robust this pre-market move is on NVIDIA. So I'm very interested in seeing this, mostly because I think to break a fib in the pre-market like this, I don't know. We'll see. Well, it'll be wild. We'll put it that way. In the meantime, we have Rivian, which we covered this yesterday during earnings, down about 18%. This has been a rough year so far, rough start to a year for Rivian. You did sort of rally going into January here on Rivian. You were up in that sort of low 20s level. Now you're about half that. You're back down here at about 12. You're almost at all-time lows on Rivian at this point. Pretty remarkable. Dell, Dell was one of those I was mentioning yesterday as very interesting in the NVIDIA play, as potentially an overlooked. It's presently up 4%, although we're still negative on that server segment year over year. So clearly they're not a current or immediate beneficiary of NVIDIA infrastructure build out, but who knows, maybe they will become. Sunrun 1466. This actually is not as bad as where they were. I remember this looking like it was going to get pulled down under this longer term trend line, and it looks like we might actually open up right on top of the trend line for Sunrun. So we'll see what happens here. You've got the Q's up a couple percent on this. You've got, let's see, Lucid down 7.4, brings you at 344, and that puts you, it really only brings you back to pricing we saw maybe about 3 weeks ago or 2 weeks ago, so not a big surprise on price movement there. Most of the market, though, is green, and, Supermicro, I have to say, they timed their what's it called? They timed their explosive $1.9 billion raise pretty perfectly. By the way, jobless claims came in at 201K versus the 216 estimate. Continuing claims came in at 1862 versus the 884. Sorry, this week has been such a frankly boring week with catalysts other than earnings that I've been more interested in watching these earnings here. The heck is that? Yeah, okay, well, that's what I just read out. That was jobless claims. I get these notifications off. Oh, there we go. Late anyway. Okay, so, but yeah, Supermicro buries the $1.9 billion convertible on the day of NVIDIA earnings. That beat. I mean, we were expecting a beat. That was clear. There was no doubt in my mind about an NVIDIA beat. I didn't think the stock would rally on it, though. Mostly because they, frankly, like, always beat. So I was surprised by that. Wow. Yeah, we'll see how this goes. This market open will be very interesting. I think you're going to have a lot of short covering, not because people are purely bearish on NVIDIA, although that is possible too, but also because I think there's a combination of taking some gains, some money off the table, and then hedging activity. And so you'll have to get some coverage on that as the day opens. And so that could be very interesting too, because it could add some more buy power. Whew. Okay, so now what I think is very interesting too, and it somewhat, well, let's see here. No, okay, yeah, never mind. Let me see this actually instead. So, no, that's just earnings. Okay, all right, never mind. I thought there was something neat there. There's not. Okay, great. So, this is pretty remarkable. You've got the only leftover sort of catalyst here is at 6:45 today. We're going to get the S&P manufacturing services and composite PMIs. However, this morning you did get Moderna. They did go profitable, which was actually surprising that they went profitable without, or should I say, with the level of declining COVID sales. You have R&D expenses at $141 billion. You've got EPS coming in at 55 cents versus like $3 a year ago, which is pretty wild. You've got let's see here. Let's see, revenue $2.81 billion versus the estimate of $2.5. So I wonder if they're getting moves here on the RSV vaccine. They are definitely a mover in the RSV space. Then we've got, let's see here, who else reported this morning? Wayfair. Okay, let's take a peek at Wayfair. This should be an interesting look into the consumer. Remember, Etsy beat, so let's see how aligned they are. Okay, yeah, okay. Wayfair sees Wayfair revenue 3.1 versus 3.11. It's pretty close to a meet. I would just give them that. Lost 11 cents per share versus the estimate of 15. Wayfair cost focus can drive profit even as sales stall. Q1 revenue down mid-single digits. Oof. The negative growth really hurts when it comes to investors. You get that a lot, the negative growth. So, but that also makes sense. I mean, I want to see what Wayfair, how their revenue actually evolved since COVID. So, if I go revenues, we're at annual for 23, 12 bill. We were at 14 bill in 2020. So you've been, and then you were 13.7 in 2021, 12.2 2022. So, I mean, you kind of bell curved there. That is really interesting. Okay. Then we have high interest rates have impacted option pricing, cheapening puts while pumping the price of calls. All told, elevated borrowing costs have made longer dated protection particularly inexpensive, especially for traders willing to sell volatility to get it. Ooh. That's an interesting observation here by them. Claims add to a sense of U.S. economic resilience. Yep. Good news is everywhere, or almost everywhere. Well, yeah. I mean, that's interesting. Wait, where are they talking about? They can't be talking about U.S. International. Let me see. But they are. What's this Japan? In Japan, meanwhile, one wonders how many bottles of champagne were cracked open today after the Nikkei finally closed at a new all-time high for the first time since the 1980s. Wow, that's crazy. Oh, that's so cool. Well, congratulations to Japan. First time since the 1980s. Oh my gosh. You know, here we are on like our indices, and you hit an all-time high in 2021, and then you get your new all-time high in what, 2.5 years later? It's crazy. Or less than 2.5 years later. Yeah, it's like 2 years later. Maybe 2 years and a month. Let's see if I can get the 225 in here. Nikkei 225. I probably need some kind of ETF. I wonder if this will do it though. Okay, no, yeah, see, that's nonsense. Okay, let's just go Google really quickly. Nikkei 225. You think Webull would do it? Well, I mean, this is not great because it doesn't go all the way back to the 80s, but it certainly shows you the ride that you've been on, you know, certainly at least since the early 90s. Look at that, since 91. That's like 33 years. Oh, that's remarkable. So, let's see here. Imagine buying and holding since then. Yeah, no kidding, huh? Services PMI will give us a hint on inflation for Feb. Well, I don't know if that's true because, let me see here. Is this PMI? Oh, it is the Feb preliminary. You're right. No, you're right. I thought this was going to be like a final January read. But you're right, actually. It is a preliminary read for Feb. And we are looking at a growth in the services PMI at 52.3. Good job. You're right. No, I didn't say Walmart was in bad shape. I said I thought the consumer was in worse shape. And boy, the consumer keeps spending. Now, I do think that's driven by somewhat unsustainable means, but I don't know that those unsustainable means have to turn around anytime soon. The consumer keeps spending, and so they've absolutely blown it out of the water here with sales. People just keep spending. It's pretty remarkable. So let's see here. Sound question? Okay, hopefully the sound is okay. Yes. Yes, my puts are in the water. Yes, SMCI is a server rack company. Yeah. Yeah. You know, but I think they added some water pipes and they got some sexy server racks apparently. Those are some hot racks. Oh my gosh. Yeah, BNPL, you know, remember Walmart actually added BNPL at checkout. Let me see if I can find a piece on that really quick. BNPL at checkout Walmart. Oh no. No. Look at this, look at this. Walmart adds Affirm's BNPL to checkout. In an expanded partnership, they're adding the option at checkout kiosks at most stores. Amid its pursuit of offline customers, installment payment platform Affirm will announce it has integrated installment payment platform Affirm into 4,500 checkout or into 4,500 Walmarts across the U.S. Yikes! Now, don't get me wrong. As an investor in Walmart, you are absolutely a beneficiary of this. So, congratulations. That's really, really cool. But wow, that's all I like to say. It is it's a little odd that how should I say it? Maybe it's not odd. You know, it's just a way people could spend more money. But Yeah, I guess the idea is maybe if the challenge is get through a more challenging time now with BNPL, help you manage finances between now and getting through it, great. But and then you wait for wages to catch up or what? But you know, what if you just have a generation of frankly indebted folks who now can't buy real estate or can't buy assets because there's too much BNPL and too much debt. I mean, this debt goes against your credit score. It's going to show up on your debt to income for purposes of buying real estate. And so longer term, I certainly would have some concerns, but in the short term, it's clearly great for the implementer of it, and that would be, in this case, Walmart. And to some extent, of course, Affirm. Affirm's done well over the last 6 months or so as well, and stock price actually quite well. I think it was, when was it $10? When was its bottom? Let's see here. Affirm's bottom was, yeah, okay, about last summer. So last August. Wild. Smells like the '08 crash. Oh. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think, remember the phrase, the market can remain, what is it? The market can remain irrational longer than you can remain solvent. Like, I don't think you could go in and start saying, oh, you know, Affirm's a bubble, Walmart's a bubble, Costco's a bubble. Even though I think the valuations are nuts and there's some unsustainableness going on, I don't know that bubble has to pop anytime soon. It could be a decade, which is crazy. And you know, you don't want to bet against that for a decade because like I said, you just go bankrupt. So, you know, I think you kind of just have to look at it and go, all right, new reality. New reality is people are able to spend a lot more than we thought was possible. And whether we like it or not, it's probably the future, at least for likely a long period of time. See, I don't think you're going to get like the China-fication, so to speak, of the U.S. consumer anytime soon. I think it's just too easy to walk away from debts. I'm going to write that down really quick. So that was BNPL, Walmart added, and they did this a while ago. This wasn't, I want to say that was like in December, right before Christmas. Walmart BNPL checkout. Well, yeah, that was December 20th, right before Christmas. Oh, that is really interesting. I wonder how long they expect that'll take. How to use Affirm in store. Apply online before you shop. See, that sounds inconvenient. Oh, I'm sure they've made it convenient enough. Oh, you know. But, wow. Okay. So, but what I was going to say is this is Walmart added Affirm to 4,500 checkout locations December 20th, 2023. And then I'm going to put a little note and just say, as real wages rise, even though this feels bubbly, the bubble can continue to support, how should we say it, consumer spending for much longer than we might expect. And then I'll say maybe call it a decade of bubble building. It's not shortable, not shortable. That's my. I mean, I don't think the sort of collapse is around the corner for that sort of consumer debt bubble. You know, credit delinquencies are just barely higher than what they were. We go to credit card delinquencies. Let's see here. Okay, so yeah, look at this. Credit card delinquencies are fractionally higher now than where they were before the pandemic. But you know, we were nearly twice that level. Well, maybe not quite twice that level, but we were substantially higher in okay, maybe even up to twice that level pre-COVID. In the early 2000s, certainly those delinquencies rose in the recession. Kind of remarkable. So, oh well. I'll take a little screenshot of that. Okay, yeah, and real wages. That's the other thing to know too. So if we just go, let's see here, let's try real wages. Real is with inflation removed. They should be positive again. Real earnings, wage and salary. And then I need to go percent change. Let's see here. Change from a year ago. Yes. Yes. Here's another thing that's going to drive consumer spend. So understand real wages is basically just a way of saying, look, yes, inflation went up substantially, right? We know that. And so as a result of that, wages were negative, 5.6% there for a moment. So we haven't seen that sort of wage, negative wage growth, so to speak, since 1980. It wasn't even in the 82 recession that we had negative wage growth like that. And it's quite frankly remarkable. It's probably driven by the massive shortages of trying to get people to go to work again that drove this rapid increase then in pay right after the pandemic, but then led to these excessively high comps year over year, and threw that right back into the toilet for real wages. So you get sort of this way overextend, and then of course the percentage comparison year over year way low. But you're positive again. This is subtracting out inflation, and when this line is positive, you're generally in a position of benefiting consumers. So good for consumers, and then obviously good for what that means for consumer style stocks. I mean, for a period of time there, I was short Costco just because it's a 4-peg. The valuation is insane, but I had to close the position. I was down certain high single digits percent on this, and so it's not a big deal. It was just a normal short. It wasn't a derivative. That would suck because then you'd be down like 70%, right? But I shorted it somewhere around here. Boy, there was a minute where it just started going down after the short, and I'm like, aha. Yeah, no, that didn't last. But you can be logical about it, but I don't think that the logic is here anytime soon. And look at Dutch Bros, 9% on Dutch Bros. We looked at the Dutch Bro numbers yesterday. I think for a moment it might be cool to look at Dutch Bros investor relations. We did a bit of this yesterday in the market close, but I didn't look at their financials yesterday, so I will take a quick look. Okie dokie. Here we go. So, wow, the company actually operates most of its own stores. 510 out of 974. That means if you go to a Dutch Bros, you are, 794. There we go. You have a 64% chance of showing up at one of their company-owned stores. And let's see. Very interesting. I want to see. I thought they would have franchised more than this. Okay, what do we got? We've got cash. Oh, not that much cash. About 140 millis. We've got payables. 60 plus 75, 81-ish, 81. They got plenty of cash here. Yeah, actually, with their cash, they could probably almost pay off all their bills and debt. But, I mean, they don't need to do that. Are they cash flow positive? Here's their labor costs. Oh, my Lord. Look at the growth in labor. 27.1% growth in labor costs. Oh, sorry. No, this is a percentage of. This is not growth. My fault. This is a percentage of their revenue. Ah, okay. So labor costs are as a percentage of revenue up about 160 basis points. And package and food costs are up 0.6. Now, see, that's interesting because it shows you where sort of the lingering pressure is. It's not so much here on packaging costs or commodity costs. It's more on the labor side, which is why we're still seeing some of that, excuse me, stickier inflation, which is expected. That the first wave as well was goods inflation, and then the second wave was services inflation. And so now you have to rotate that down in the inverse. First wave, goods down. Second wave, services inflation down. But, you know, again, the concern is, will that be sticky? But look at Dutch Bros here. We've got growth of, well, that's almost 20%. That's more than 20%, actually. Yeah, it's like, what, 24%? 26%. That's pretty impressive. High margin there on the franchise. Otherwise, their margin is on the company, on the stores they run. Their margin's about 27%. Honestly, not bad. Gross profit. And then we have, let's see, depreciation, amortization. I don't even care about that. It doesn't even count. You could add that right back in. So it's not bad. They got growth. You know, really, you could add back in. I mean, add back in the depreciation. They're fine because they seem to own some real estate as well. Or you also have the equipment, you know, the coffee machines and stuff you're writing off. But total shop openings in 2024 are expected to be, wow. I mean, they have 59 stores, and they want to open a midpoint of 157. You're going to open another 20% stores. That's crazy. Another 20% they want to add. That's pretty impressive. Is volume a little low? I don't know why it's so low today. Test. Let's see here. Test. Oh, wow. That's odd. It's like some level got screwed here. Hold on a sec. Test. Testing. Is this better? No. Test. Test. That's probably better. Wow. Okay. Is that better? I don't know. All right, whatever. I mean, everybody, most people here seem to think it's fine. So, okay, good. So, yeah, they did that last year as well, opening as many stores as they possibly can. Really interesting. So, this is some serious growth. It's expensive to open stores. Same store sales grew 2.8%. That's where they're getting their growth. That's what it is. They wouldn't be growing if they weren't adding stores. That's it. I see. Okay, so the only way they're really expanding revenue is by adding stores. It makes sense when you're a coffee shop. Of course. That'd be kind of fun, you know, being responsible for going around opening a bunch of stores and, you know, seeing new designs and locations open up. This seems like a fun job. Top line revenue is expected to grow 20% the next few years. That's basically just store sales or you know, building out stores. Yeah, that is very interesting. Okay. Well, good for them. Oops. There we go. So Dutch Bros up 9% here in the pre-market. So good for them. This puts them. Let's zoom out a little bit. Oh wow! I did not know Dutch Bros was bleeding out like this. I have to say I haven't paid attention. I haven't paid much attention to it, but mid 50s there since IPO. You're almost down half. Now you're back up, you know, to where you basically were in December. But it's been a little bit of a harder run for them. Oh, interesting. Okay, so how's this one doing? Did it collapse yet? Oh, it started collapsing yesterday. Oh, I think today's the landing. So that could be. Let me see. Did it land or what? Intuitive Machines Lunar images. No, sorry, not images. News. Enters orbit around the moon. How to watch it live. 5:30 p.m. Eastern is the lunar landing. Oh, I want to watch it. Oh, that's really cool. Okay. Yeah, there are a bunch of channels that show the lunar landing for 5:30. I'm gonna set a little reminder for that. Set alarm for 2:25 p.m. There we go. Okay, all right. So, wow. All right. SPY up 1.43. You've got Matterport recovering a little bit. You've got Zscaler recovering. Oh, Zscaler and CrowdStrike, they're all kind of recovering after the drama of the Palo Alto Networks earnings. 5% over here. CrowdStrike 3.3. Intel's up a couple. Trade Desk going back a couple. Wow, Microsoft up 1.87. Meta's up 2.33. ARM is up 6.55. Holy schmoka dokas. That's even Apple's up 0.5%. When's Apple up? Wow. All right. Let's see here. So, let me see what there were on other earnings. Okie dokie. Oh, is that Nick T? Nick T. Ah, yes. And he put together a little chart of banks' expectations for when we're going to get rate cuts and how many we're going to get in the year. It's basically, I mean, unexpectedly May or June. Fascinating, though. Very few expectations of July. I thought you would have had a lot more. I've been a little bit leaning towards June or July. So I'm kind of surprised to see how this is like 50-50 May, June-ish. But hey, I'll take it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on eHack here. There we go. All right. So quick reminder, if you haven't yet gone to eHack.com, I just threw credit card delinquencies up here and the chart by Nick T. So you have this breakdown here. Mostly you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 June, 5, 6 think May. 12 think June, 6 think May. Interesting. But yeah, what else you'll find here is lower some numbers on China, Latin America. We've got numbers here on food spending as a percentage of sort of lower income spending. You've got the minutes summarized over here. NVIDIA earnings, the NVIDIA earnings call, Rivian, Etsy commentary, whatever. So there's a lot of good stuff here at eHack.com if you haven't checked it out yet. It is free. There is no cost. Okay, good. So, by the way, if you have any questions on, when is he coming on? Hold on. They just played his earnings call. I thought I saw Jensen on CNBC, but I don't think he really cares. I think the stock is speaking for itself, and he did enough yapping yesterday. But anyway, if you have any questions, just sort of as we're going through the market open here, I know there were some folks who had questions on house hack. I think we've answered almost everybody's questions, but if you have any questions, you're welcome to ask. Okay, so 12 banks see June, and 6 see banks see May, 0 see July. I'm surprised by that. What engine does my jet have? That's a bizarre question. They're Pratt & Whitney engines. Oh. Okay. Oh, I hate this darn thing. There we go. So, okay. But yes, I will be frank. I thought for sure by now we would have been pricing in a little bit more July. And I'll tell you the reason I thought we would have been pricing in some more July. If I look at the monitors, we kind of look at futures, I go to June, we're only, I mean, we still have a 36.5% chance of no cut in June. So I'm surprised with 36% that none of the banks are actually writing in July. 36 seems like a pretty good chance of you know, not getting cuts until July. So he's got a wire. Is that like a Sopranos line? That's a good one. Yeah, you know what it is? It's the Bluetooth AirPods or whatever. They just start jumping around to a bunch of different devices and they reconnect. I'm like, this is ridiculous. So Summer's doing well as of yesterday. One more surgery to go. Thank you for that. Curious, would you get involved in real estate deals with a person who constantly lies on financial forms? Who lies on financial firms? Firms or forms? Anyway, RSI. And I mean, if you're RSI, if you're talking about like a partnership, I hate partnerships in real estate. It's one of the reasons, frankly, I love house hacks so much. You like, and I see this question's like what, almost 10 minutes old here, but anyway, yeah, like one of the reasons I love house hacks so much is I'm the boss. You know, there's like when we're negotiating with sellers or we're, you know, dealing with tenants or whatever, it's so much easier to solve the problems because there's, I mean, obviously there's a board, obviously that you know, but from a daily operating point of view, it's so pleasant not to have like a bunch of partners that everybody has to be on the same page on, because I feel like you can get so much more done. So I've always, and I said this for years, if you need a partner in real estate to do the deal, don't do the deal. So with all the job announcements lately, do you think there's a reason why claims are muted? Mostly because jobs lost or high earners? You know, I actually, I think the answer to that is you're not actually seeing that many job losses. So if I go layoff tracker, okay, so, you know, go to like trueup.io, you know, January you were at 45,000. Yeah, but I mean, you compare it to like last January, February, you're way low. Let me go to a different one. Let me go to layoffs. So if I can go to a chart. Yeah, last January we were at, you know, per this one tracker, like 89,000. And this tracker has us at like 31,000 on this one particular tracker. So you're a third as many layoffs as last January. And that came off large layoffs June, July, August, September, October, November of 22. Don't really see it. Yeah. Oh, well, listen in here for a moment.
Sovereign element has been one of his big doctrines last few weeks. Help viewers understand the impact China had on data center in the quarter.
Well, look, I mean, he's been saying over and over, and I was joking about it yesterday, that he's going to say that it's great degradation. It's going to not go away, but it's going to decline substantially. But the issue there is that everybody wants them. There was a tremendous amount of talk about allocation and Hal Jensen's going to give them away fairly. So believe me, the Chinese are going to, their product will be sold. NVIDIA disputed this with me originally. And when I said, listen, can't you mark that product up that would have gone to China? I said, look, Jim, we don't do that.
Right. So, what is this? Thoughts on Gary Black's recent view on Tesla? I don't know what is. You know, I have not been on Twitter that much. I did post once yesterday, but I don't know. I haven't been on there that much. I've just been distracted or busy with other things. Let's see here. What is this? Oh, wow. It's just a giant wall of text. Looking forward, my price target remains 290. Let's see. Where I was wrong was on sharply decelerating volume growth. Volume growth has slowed despite massive price cuts. Where I've been massively wrong is not anticipating that Tesla would, or is not anticipating that Tesla would start a price war. I think it's great to some extent because, boy, you just cleared. There's no competition now. People are like, oh well, there's Chinese competition. They ain't in America. So. Be very interesting to see what ends up happening as rates start changing. Anyway, okay, so yeah, all right. Okay, so I'm watching NVIDIA here pre-market, and I am seeing that pre-market euphoria continue to decline. When we opened this up, I mentioned we were right around here, and I was talking. Well, I started right around here, what 525-ish, and I suggested I don't know how robust this pre-market movement is going to be because you're only trading like $3.3 million per minute, which I know that sounds like a lot, but it's NVIDIA, okay? So you've got some real problems with the robustness of this. So I'm very curious to see what happens when institutional trades start coming in. What happens? On the flip side, Dell's up 420. That's funny. Thoughts on BNPL becoming a commodity? Ooh. So, well, there's two ways to look at that. One is, does something like a firm become a commodity? Look, the only moat they had was partnerships with firms, and the thought was that, like, companies would just partner with one company. Yeah, I was wrong. Companies just go, which BNPL do you want? Yes. It's like all of them. It's getting, that reminds me, like, we do these jokes where if we drive past a graveyard, we always ask, and you can kind of like see all the tombstones and you can kind of count them. We'll tell Jack, hey, Jack, how many people are dead in that graveyard? But he's on to us now. All of them dead. Kind of gruesome. But anyway, sure. The more you have basically perfect competition, the more, the product is challenging to differentiate between one and the other. Rates come down, terms become very easy to understand. Sign up becomes very easy. You remove the barriers to signing up so extremely, and then what ends up happening is then the loan can become a commodity too, because there's really no difference between, a BNPL written by Klarna or a BNPL written by a firm. And so then institutions don't care because they just end up buying it up and diversifying the risk. So, yeah, I don't know. That's fascinating. So, could it become a commodity? Yeah, you're actually right. Probably could. Okay, so what else? Okie dokie dokie. So, look at that. Did y'all see this weird move here on the Qs? And you had like a 9-point drop there for a hot minute on pre-market. I'm not sure if that's also reflected over at other. No, it's not. It's only a Weeble glitch there, so never mind. Okay, this is interesting. Mexico traders are set to reinforce that the Bank of Mexico will reduce rates in March. Inflation came in at biweekly inflation. That's interesting. 4.45%, lower than a 4.7 estimate. Ah, I see. And now you're getting the reductions in when the rate cut estimates are coming. Okay, fair. How are Treasury yields doing this morning? This morning on bonds, pretty much flat, 4.33. We've got a lot of room to come down on those, that's for sure. So then you've got oil, 82.50. Everything's green pre-market in terms of the indices. How has the Russell 2000 been out here? So let's go to like what is it? ISW? No, what's that? IWM? IWM, that's it. There we go. Doesn't roll off the tongue as easily as SPY or Qs. But here's your Russell. I mean, it's finally had some growth. But zoom out on the weekly, and it's been trading as sideways as Tesla. Oh, yeah. Let's see. X is a cesspool of discrimination and hate speech. Do people think that? Is it that bad? I don't know if I'm just like super busy or what, but I think that's very interesting. Dark humor for the win. Oh. Lunar's a bust. Let me see. Lunar. Yeah, it's still moving down here in the pre-market. You know, one of the things that's so cool, I mean, I know I did a little trimmy doodle there of NVIDIA, but one of the cool things about it is the tax savings. See, I put my trade in on Thursday. I'm pissed with how long it took, and that's not a mechanic issue. That's like an underlying like ETF servicing processor issue, and that'll get fixed in the future. But my trade should have realistically gone through last week, which would have been great because it would have been at the top when I wanted my trade to go through. But anyway, it's very interesting because I look at it, and let's say the average tax on the short-term gains of, I don't know, let's say there were $1 million of gains, right, between the various little chip stocks that were trimmed. If you have $1 million of gains, just to make numbers easy, and you were going to pay 30% in taxes, well, you'd be down at $700K, right? And the difference in timing was probably worth about 6%. So you're still up 24% moving some of these positions to cash than you would have been without the tax trade. So arbing the IRS is actually really nice. And so just understanding like the mechanics of that quickly, in an exchange traded fund, you can exchange stocks for other stocks, including mutual fund shares of cash. So you could basically go from stocks, like $1 million of gains of stocks, let's say, turn it into cash and not have a taxable event. So I'm like, oh my gosh, like everybody needs to do that. I don't think that everybody does, or you know, mostly because, you know, there's a lot of signaling involved in sending trade alerts or whatever when it comes to ETFs. But the like not passing on taxes to people, I think, is also very valuable. And so I just think the tax savings aspect is so remarkable. And so then you look and you go, wow, cool. You know, now you've got some cash that you've deferred taxes on that you could use to go shopping with in the future. I think it's very interesting. So, okay, we are 14 minutes away from our open here. We have, let us see here. I want to see what the suits have to say about NVIDIA this morning. We haven't looked at what the suits have said yet this morning. So I do think there could be something interesting in the way of exploring the latest research from the banks. The banks. Okay. Ideally, a bear. That's what we need. We need a bear thesis. Somebody to just smack us silly and tell us what we don't want to hear. So if I go, let's see here. How about, who do we want to pick? How about we go with, do we have a TS Lombard? TS Lombard's always good. No. JPM? No. How about, let's see here. NVIDIA. Okay, a Goldman piece. Let's see what Goldman has to say. All right. Robust generative AI infrastructure spend coupled with a string of new products to support continued outperformance. I don't know if, like, you could say they're new products or the new versions of the older products, but I guess that's a new product. That's fair. That's fair. What's their price target? So their price target is $875. Oh, wow. Gaming going positive again. Yeah, that's true. That was pretty good. Guidance. Yeah, 9% quarter over quarter. But I think they're going to beat that 9% guidance quite a bit. Estimate update. We increase our revenue for 2025-26 by 10% to reflect continued strength in the core data center business. Yeah, they're not wrong about that. That continued strength was very impressive. I will give them that. I was not expecting that much. I was expecting a beat, but not that much of an estimate beat. Yeah, and then Barclays. Substantial beat is enough for elevated expectations. At least another quarter of outperformance. That's funny. That's what I was saying yesterday. At least another quarter. We think another strong beat reaffirms the prolonged ramp for AI ecosystem build. And then you have a second wave of beneficiaries like AMD. I don't know what these are. What's COHR? This is Barclays. I don't know who this is. But they're calling them part of the second wave. Coherent. And then it looks like Marvel. MRVL. That should benefit as well. Marvell Technology. So, Coherent. I'll look at what they do in just a moment. All segments contribute to beat. Yeah, you have gaming contribute as well. So let's pull quickly the, let's look at Coherent investor relations. So what I always like to do is I just like to pull the annual report. And then if you pull the annual report, they'll literally tell you under business information what it is they do. General description. We develop, okay, here we go. We develop, manufacture, and market engineered materials, optoelectrical components, and devices for use in optical communications, industrial, aerospace, defense, consumer electronics, life sciences, semiconductors, automotives, optical. Okay, optical has to do with light. So like lasers, optical coatings, maybe, yeah, high energy lasers. Ah, proprietary process developed by our global optical coating centers differentiate our product's durability against high energy lasers and extreme operating environments. Oh, so more like glass. And they're talking about the how their glass works with lasers. But they also have a broad portfolio compound of semiconductor lasers that are used for a variety. Okay, so it's both. So it's glasses and lasers. That makes sense. Glasses, mirrors, lasers. It kind of all goes together. Very interesting. Oh, wow, they're big. They have 23.6 thousand people working for the company. Business unit, engineered materials and laser optics, laser devices and systems, aerospace and defense. Kind of cool. Coherent. I'm going to start like powering AI innovation. Of course they have that on their front page. Let's just go to like Amazon and try to buy some like coherent lasers. Coherent. Ah, okay, yeah, here on Amazon, as soon as I type in coherent, I get anti-drone and missile defenseless. I'm just kidding. There's nothing on Amazon from that. It's clearly a very industrial-based company, and that might explain why, sort of as a consumer, we might be more unfamiliar with them. So, all right, 11% pre-market. I cannot wait to see how durable this ends up being going into the open here. How's BTC looking today? BTC. Take a peek. 51. Let's see what. BTC. Crypto. Let's try to get some news. Okay. Crypto. No. What is this? Andreessen Horowitz invests $100 million in crypto startup EigenLayer. This guy's really into crypto. Paris Saint-Germain becomes first soccer team to validate a blockchain. Interesting. I don't fully understand what they mean with that. Okay. French soccer giant Paris Saint-Germain says it will become a network validator for the Chiliz chain blockchain that hosts its PSG fan tokens and use the money to generates to buy them back on a regular basis. Okay. That's an interesting idea. They introduced a fan token in September of 2020, September 2018. The token has a market cap of 28 million. Buyback program will allow them to regularly refresh. Oh, that's interesting. That's kind of cool. Yeah, good thing the SEC isn't over there trying to take that away from the soccer fans. Okay, so we are now 6 minutes away from the moment of truth. An unprecedented ruling from Alabama Supreme Court stated that frozen embryos can be considered people under state laws. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's very interesting because that means, wow. So how do you then take care of all those embryos? That's very interesting. The decision was handed down in 2 wrongful death lawsuits filed by 3 sets of parents whose frozen embryos were accidentally destroyed. Ooh, yeah. Well, that's bad. Alabama's Supreme Court reversed the decision of the lower court, saying that an unborn child is still a person, regardless of the child's viability or stage of development. Wow. That's that's big for the whole like stem cell community as well, because there's a lot of research that's conducted on embryonic stem cells. Just because an embryonic cell can basically turn into any cell in your body. So the idea is that, could you in the future like grow somebody a new leg by implanting embryonic cells in them if they lost their leg? And wow, very interesting. Sorry, I don't know why that has anything to do with finance, but I thought it was very interesting. And I just saw that. Okay, 4 minutes to the bell. All right, so what else? Thousands of AT&T customers lose service. Nearly 75,000 customers reported problems texting and making calls. No, I got bars. I hate AT&T though. And the beautiful thing is, oh no, I'm not. No, yeah, my bars are crap. I have like 4 service providers. I have a bunch of different. I basically have all of them. So and then I hide my any text-based phone 2 factors. So it's way harder to get SIM swapped because I just don't use those numbers. Freaking SIM swappers. All right. Okay, good. So what else? 3 minutes to the bell. Goldman's chief economist, whatever. What will Warren Buffett do with his $150 billion of cash? Should have bought Nvidia, bro. Could have had a lot more money. That's actually funny. All right. What else? A lot of boy, yeah, Twitter's something else. A lot of anti-woke on the Gemini there. And I mean, some of the stuff people were posting was pretty wild on Gemini. Okay. All right. Leaked files show the secret world of China's hackers for hire. See, now that seems like an interesting story. I'm not gonna look at it right now because it's not that big of a deal. That's an NYT story. How about the Financial Times in our final 2 minutes before the bell's here? The bell. Good luck catching up to Nvidia. That's one of their headlines. U.S. jobless claims hit 5-week low and sign of sturdy labor market. Google pauses AI image generation after backlash. That's funny. Strong growth trend and solid labor market prompt GDP upgrade from S&P 5 or S&P, not the 500, just the S&P, the company. GDP growth of 2.4 up from 1.5. Oh, they had a low target. What's the Atlanta Fed real GDP? Atlanta Fed real GDP now sitting at latest estimates 2.9. Yeah, 2.9 on real GDP. Guess I should throw that up there as well. Anyway, let's listen in over here.
First quarter is going to be the worst one, but they use negative single digits expectation for the quarter. That was incredibly disappointing for a company that I like very much.
Yeah.
Incredibly disappointing.
Of course, this was all a big topic of discussion at the Fed in the Fed minutes, which were the discussion was so broad, Jim. They talked about labor supply and immigration. Morgan Stanley says this is not a committee that's in any rush to do anything.
No, but it's because the data points are signaling. Well, look, immigration. I'm going to talk about immigration because that is, again, remember there are people who are unscrupulous and they will hire people below minimum wage who are afraid of being deported. And that does create at last what I would say is a ceiling on the jobs that had been $18. They can get those down to 15, 14 illegally. I don't condone any illegal activity. I'm saying it's happening. But I do think that there's a lot to worry about and there's a lot to be excited about if you decide that the 8 to 10 million immigrants are in the workforce.
Yeah, and now some word that the president's going to consider some executive actions on asylum. We'll see how that affects net immigration.
It matters because we are in a moment where if you listen to all the restaurants are still finding it very hard to get people. Healthcare finding it very hard to get people. The only place that is not will be the call center. And that is because I don't know whether you've been on any of the calls that are now NVIDIA-related calls.
All right, so there you have, let's say about 60% green, and that's the moment of truth. How robust is this move going to be on Nvidia? And so far, I have to say, it's looking pretty strong. This could have been a giant red candlestick, and it's not. It's holding on to about that 11% level right now. That's looking pretty strong for the first minute, I have to say. That's a good sign, and I think if you can get past the first 15 minutes of trade here, maybe you're up from here. I still got a large position or large exposure to Nvidia, so I'll take it. But this is remarkable. Yep, here we go. As we get past the first minute, looks like now we're getting to about 12%, and it might be up from there. So that's there we go. Average candlestick now shows green. There it is. That is leading the Qs up to 10. Yeah, there are the two mentions from Barclays. Coherent and Marvell, both up about 5.5%. Affirm's up almost 3%. Super Micro up almost 15. Whoa, Rivian just tanked. Tesla tanked as well, a percent. Look at that. Rivian tanks at the open. Tesla tanks at the open. Lucid tanks at the open. The autos go to the toilet. Etsy's down 7%. You've got Dutch Bros down. You've got Palo Alto Network after its horrible day yesterday, up 3%. You've got Enphase down 20 bips. Cloudflare comes back after the Palo Alto along with Zscaler, Fortinet. Trade Desk up again, 1.8. Intel's up about 1. Coinbase 127. You've got Amazon's up 2%. Apple's almost up 1%. I think Microsoft was up a couple with Meta. Let's see how robust those are. Oh, there's NVIDIA again. MSFT. And 173 on MSFT. And Meta is sitting at 186. NVIDIA's holding on to that 12. It is not giving up on that 12, so good for it. That's actually impressive. It's a sign that what we saw in the pre-market was quite robust. In fact, if anything, there we go. If anything, it was just sort of a sign of what was to come, because I think, like I said, you get past the first few minutes here, there's a chance you could be on the up and up for the day. Who knows? Maybe this sucker closes at like 17% or something like that. Be pretty remarkable. I don't know how possible it is, but we'll see. So we'll watch this, obviously, and let's take a peek at some of the other AM news. So 5 reasons treasuries will stay under pressure. NVIDIA outpacing, jobless claims low, rate cut expectations are dwindling, corporate supply remains heavy, more supply is on the way. Yeah. That all means higher for longer. But then again, does it though? Because it all comes down to inflation. You've got, what's it called? The Fed cognizant at least of what's going on with with foreign areas. And, other countries and otherwise, in terms of the deflationary impact. Let's take a peek here. There we go. Okay. So, let's see here. We talked about Mexico's easing inflation. Let me see what else the suits are saying. We looked at Barclays, JPM Goldman. NVIDIA could become a $10 trillion company. Ooh, that's sexy. It's a $1.8 trillion company right now. What is this? Gushing cash like the North Sea oil rig? Yeah, free cash flow at 26.9. Yeah, I mean, they have a lot of money. They're just killing it. NVIDIA's profits have risen faster than its share price, lowering its PE ratio. That is true. Most important stock in the world. Impossible as nothing. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. That's a funny reference. I'm gonna throw this picture up. Hold on, give me one sec. How can I do this? There we go. Look at this this chart that they're comparing NVIDIA to. This is Cisco in the .com bubble versus NVIDIA, and they're like, uh-oh. I mean, you're not even close though. You're like barely just getting started. It's crazy. It's remarkable. So, let's see here. Their reported guide is always conservative, right? They always beat their guide by like 10 to 15%. And so that's I already built that into my numbers yesterday. Let's see here. Is Rivian at an all-time low now? Let's see here. Where is Rivian? Oh, let's find out. Rivian. is at 1163. Yikes. Or 1136. Okay, it spiked down to that level. Yeah, 1168 was the all-time low. You're right. It did for a moment there go all-time low. Wow. What happened to Spirit? Let's find out. Spirit. Well, it's been somewhat stable there in the mid-sixes. All right. NVIDIA's going to hold. That's impressive. So the Qs are going to hold at 2% as a result. And, yeah, there's Tesla. Look at that. Nice fat red candlestick right off the open. It went down as much as about 1.2% there right at the open. It almost looked like Palo Alto there. Palo Alto Networks. What is this? CrowdStrike over here, up 4%. Maybe there's the little buy the dip opportunity there from PanW. Okay, let's get more news for the AM, or maybe even look at some more of the suits have for us. This will keep the entertainment up on screen. 12.5%. Got those green candles. And we're gonna go. Okay, so we've got. Let's see. The European semis, that's kind of boring. How about Crédit Agricole? What is this? Complacency bites. Let's see what they're talking about. The onset of this year brought about a higher degree of conviction that rate cuts were just a matter of timing. If central banks' forward guidance explicitly stated these rate cuts were coming, how could anyone think otherwise? All of these assumptions are gradually being tested. In the absence of a large deleveraging event, which one should reasonably expect to occur if policy were exceptionally tight, unless, of course, it isn't. Oh, that's a funny phrase. Then you potentially have a lower outperformance for risk assets. If one considers the possibility of inflation remaining static at current levels, market pricing could change significantly. Should change significantly, they're saying. Ooh. They sound a little bearish on if inflation stays sticky. See, that's an interesting line. If policy were exceptionally tight, maybe you break something. But what if it's not exceptionally tight? Ooh. That's a dirty line. Don't say such a thing. Wow. Okay. Almost at 13% there now on NVIDIA. NVIDIA epitomizes the strong fundamental driver that gives the stock reason to shrug off macro pressures. I don't know that there really are macro pressures, though, on the chip sectors. You know, you have, as rates are higher, you have more money at companies like Microsoft and otherwise. More money to spend on more chips. All right? Somebody says, well, I got IV crush. Oh, let's see what the, yeah, that's one of the downsides of having an option. If you wait too long to close it in the morning, you'll get the IV crush. And so, you know, the market was expecting 10.5%. So you could have had calls yesterday. They should be up now because we're up above what the implied volatility is. But yeah, there's certainly going to be a dramatic portion of that'll go to IV crush. But this is incredible. It keeps pushing here. And let's see how much we're trading per minute here. Oh, wow. Way more shares. We're trading 100x the shares we were trading pre-market. We are trading right now. Oh, my Lord. So pre-market, we were trading about $3 million a minute on this. We're now trading $534 million per minute on the stock. Holy smokes. Holy smokes. Yeah, wow. Okay, very interesting. I wonder if that'll help the volume there. Just move that a little closer. Okay, so next up would be, check out VFS. Isn't it what VinFast? VFS. What did they do? VinFast Auto. I don't even know who that is. VinFast. Let's find out. VinFast Auto. E-scooter deliveries. Down 14% from Q3. Net loss of $650 million. Vehicle sales 396. Targets delivering 100,000 EVs for the year. Oh, very, very cool. So it is a, is it just scooters or what do they do? VinFast Auto. What do they sell? Electric car? They do say electric cars. VinFast. VF8967. It's an interesting order. VinFast app. Does anybody actually own these? Reserve now. Oh, I don't know if they actually exist yet. Indonesian companies? Selling in Indonesia? I don't know much about this one. I feel like I know more about Coherent. Anyway. There it goes. Keeps going. Are we going to get our first red candlestick on the average? I don't know. Can it be? So far, the answer seems to be no. Both Microsoft, Meta up about 2.5% here. Q's a couple percent. Dell, look at that. We were talking about this one yesterday. Dell up 7%. Supermicro comes back 16.5% after those earnings. Tesla's still down 0.5%, not participating at all in the AI. Cloudflare 3.6. Toll Brothers 1.5. Home Depot Trade Desk. Okay, yeah, not much new over here. Okay, let's get some other news. I know someone who just bought a VinFast car in Canada. Oh, that's very interesting. Okay, so let's see here. Citadel made more than $4 billion from commodities in 2023. Oh, wow. Trading or bets? That's interesting. Okay, what else? Mortgage rate bounce squelches lending. Okay, that's a fancy way to put that. Private credit pushes banks into infrastructure lending. First Horizon CFO says loan growth is still difficult for regionals. Yeah, no, okay, all right. What else? We have Lenovo plans to release their first PC with artificial intelligence features by mid-year. I mean, can't technically anything have artificial intelligence features? I mean, I guess maybe you need like a neural chip. Oh, there goes NVIDIA. Look at that. Unstoppable. Unstoppable. It's almost up 14%. Oh my gosh. That's crazy. Wow. So the run continues. Same with Meta, Microsoft. I mean, this will close it above the fib. And closing above the fib on the even on the single day candlestick, that's a big deal. The last time we did that, we ran from 500 straight to the next fib. And if I go to the regular candlesticks, look at that. You got a full candle right here above. The guy who founded VinFast made his fortune selling quick noodles in Ukraine. Quick noodles. Sounds good. VinFast. VFS. Oh, wow. Holy crap. Oh, it was a SPAC. Because you got the $10. Oh, I remember this sucker. Oh, that's funny. Max here wrote, we looked at VinFast when it first went public. You said their financials looked like a scam. RIP. Wow. Gosh, look at that on the week chart. Holy smokes. They went up to $93. That's wild. Well, what's also wild is that this keeps going. Look, it doesn't stop. That's so cool. I mean, take the gains. It's great. It doesn't feel sustainable, but it's kind of cool. Intuit, 2.8. Cloudflare's 4. SolarEdge is actually positive today. Matterport's up 5. Matterport had a little droppy doodla. Okay. There's the news. I think the only news today is NVIDIA. I looked at Lenovo. We looked at Amazon U.S. retail sales forecast to grow by over 100 billion in 2024. Oh my goodness. The spending continues. What recession? Oh yeah, the 645 numbers came out. Let me look at the PMI reading. Hey, we're almost at 15%. PMIs. Oh, come in soft. Services PMI misses 51.3 versus 52.3. Manufacturing comes in at a beat, 51.5 versus 50.7. And the composite misses at 51.4 versus 51.8. Very, very cool. Your PMIs. All right. That is very interesting. Maybe that is a sign that the February inflation figures for those services will normalize again. Hopefully. It's all speculation, I suppose, at this point. Wow, look at Dell. Yeah, yesterday we were pitching Dell, and it was up 2% after hours. I'm like, Dell is like NVIDIA adjacent. Look at that. It's 7% now. Wow. Wah, wah, wee, wah. Time to push the button. Even though I'm a licensed financial advisor, real estate broker, and becoming a stockbroker, this video is neither personalized financial advice nor real estate advice for you. It is not tax, legal, or otherwise personalized advice tailored to you. This video provides generalized perspective, information, and commentary. Any third-party content I show should not be deemed endorsed by me. This video is not and shall never be deemed reasonably sufficient information for the purpose of evaluating a security or investment decision. Any links or promoted products are either paid affiliations or products or services which we may benefit from. I personally operate and actively manage ETF and hold long positions in various securities, potentially including those mentioned in this video. However, I have no relationship to any issuers other than HouseHack, nor am I presently acting as a market maker. Wow. Crazy movements there. 19% on Supermicro. Boy, the volatility is wild. All right. Very well. Let's see you in the next one. Thanks so much, folks. Goodbye.